There is no age limit for Ausbildung, to be honest. And then they'll tell you, oh, after your Ausbildung, you can be earning between 2,600 to 3,000 euros. Most times is even higher than that. I have to do it for 4 years, which will give you a bachelor degree at the end. Now, when you have that, you can do your master's, your doctorate, your PhD, and so on and so forth, for example. Hi guys, hi lovers. My name is Success Alari. On my socials, you find me at Miss Alari. I'm a logistics specialist based in Germany. Currently working for an air freight company in the export department. I do YouTube as well. What else do I do? What's it called? Yeah, on my
Anything is a
YouTube channel.
businesswoman.
Yeah,
Everywhere.
on the YouTube channel, I talk about my life, career, life in Germany, and every other sweet stuff. And I own a clothing brand, an African clothing brand called Rogire here in Germany. Yeah, and I am an Atsubi alumni.
You see that you like money, this woman.
See,
You like money too
I need
much.
to make proper dollars in this my life.
Oh my god. So first things first. Can you help us explain the difference between Ausbildung and the regular university program or regular university education in Germany?
So an Ausbildung is, I would say it combines theoretical learning and practical learning together. Now, it's usually shorter than your normal university degree that you go for 3 to 6 years. So an Ausbildung most times is between 2 years to 3.5 years. You are working directly with a company, so you have like a working contract with a company. This company teaches you the skills, the knowledge, everything you need to know to like be a professional in that certain field or area of your Ausbildung in this case. Why the if you talk about university study, I would say it's more research based, more academics, more theory, let me put it that way, than practical. That would be like the major difference when it comes to like Ausbildung and university. Yes.
Super. I'm trying to also share the link now to my WhatsApp group as well, so people remember that okay we're live so they don't
Yeah.
forget. So I'm sorry that I'm looking down and stuff. Okay, and in this case, what would you think? What would you say are the advantages of choosing Ausbildung over other educational paths?
I think if I'm going to like if I'm going to like what's it called? Do a differentiation, an
Comparison.
Ausbildung or a comparison. Yes, that's the word I was looking for. So an Ausbildung, you actually get paid to learn a trade, a skill, or learn something. Yeah, you get paid. You have no tuition fee like in a university, for example. So stuff like student debt after Ausbildung will not be a situation. You are most likely to get employed. I think that's like the major part. I personally don't know anybody that has an Ausbildung that don't have a job. But I know a lot of people that have like academic degree, even PhD, doctorate, and stuff that are struggling to get a job. And I think that's because an Ausbildung focuses more on like work experience and stuff. And I think it's easier, especially in Germany, for like companies to hire you when you already have the practical skills that you need for the job. So you're already being trained for 3 years. I mean, even if you there is no school training with the Ausbildung. If you're going to employ someone that is a novice in the field and the person works with you closely for 3 years, best believe after 3 years, this person is like a pro in the field. So I
And
would say
most often than not, it will be the same company where you did your house build. Most often than not, they will be the one that would like
yes,
to train
yes,
you.
yes. They even tell you maybe 6 months to the time your husband is supposed to end. Oh, we are looking to employ you. So company actually train or have, I would say, plans to train people based on they already know. Oh, we have 5 people going to rental. We have somebody that is I don't know how to say close to dying, but they have like a plan for their future and in terms of getting new workers and stuff. So they create space for that. And also they are training you most times to employ you. They're not just training you for training fun. Let me put it that way.
Because
Obviously, you
it's
know,
it's a big investment for them. They're paying you. They're also
yes,
giving you knowledge as well. So it's a lot of investments on their own end as well.
yes, yes. So like they train you to want to employ you, but you don't have to stay with them. Obviously, like for me, after my training, I had to change job because first of all, where I did my training was too far away, and secondly, there was no need for me to stay because I can do the same job with another company as well. So
Oh, great.
yeah.
So we still have other questions, but before that, someone had put a question here. I know that this question is somewhere in our questions already, but let's just get to it. The person said, "Is there an Ausbildung available for healthcare, and is there an age limit for Ausbildung?" So two questions in one. Maybe we'll
Yes.
start with age limit. Is there an age limit for Ausbildung?
There is no age limit for Ausbildung, to be honest. Um let me use my family now as an example. So my mom did an Ausbildung in Germany after 4 kids. So I literally watched my mom do an Ausbildung. I've seen people when I was in Ausbildung, I had someone that was a mother of 3 kids. She was like 40 doing an Ausbildung. So there is no age limit per se, but I would say obviously the like 80% of people that are doing Ausbildungs are from 16 to 25, so young professionals. But there is no age limit to doing an Ausbildung in Germany. Yes.
Cool. And then she said, "Is there an Ausbildung available for healthcare?"
Yes, there are so many hospitals available in the healthcare sector that it's not just nursing. I think I uploaded a video about that today. You have hospital to like a dentist assistant, for example. You have hospital to what's it called? Mm, like I don't even know what's it called. I don't have any on the top of my head, but you can do so many other hospitals in the health sector that is not nursing. So it depends on
But you
which
can also
part.
do nursing Ausbildung as well.
Yes, of course. That's like the most popular, I would say. Like, but there are also other parts you can deviate into, but most times they are technology based. So things like like operating
Machines.
machines and stuff. Yeah, yeah. That's
Okay, super. So it's clear that there's Ausbildung for Aus. I need to pronounce this in the way Germans pronounce it. Ausbildung.
Mhm.
There's Ausbildung for everything that you can think of, or at least almost everything that you
Yes,
can think of. And
yes,
healthcare is a big part of it because largely we are really doing hands-on, not largely, you're doing hands-on learning and stuff. So that is available for healthcare professionals as well. Then someone asks, does that does let me
I don't even know if I can
does
see.
people that did do people who do so this is the question. Before I say rubbish. I'm sorry. But I realize my glasses are not seeing properly. I'm so sorry. I love you too, Chika. Thank you so much for your question. So I think what he's trying to ask is people who do Ausbildung, do they earn more than people who do regular university studies eventually, after their programs?
Oh, that's a bit tricky because I want to say yes, but at the same time, it also depends. Now, for foreigners, I would say if you do an Ausbildung, yes. But for German, it might be a bit different. So I would say if you already have experience in the field, it depends on your experience most times. So if you are studying in Germany, for example, you have things like student job. That also counts as experience. So if your level of experience mostly determines what your salary would be. And another thing is also, when you check online, for example, logistic hospital, and then they'll tell you, oh, after your hospital, you can be earning between 2,600 to 3,000 euros. Most times is even higher than that. It also depends on, I mean, you will go to Bewerbungsgespräch, you will tell them this is what I want based on I've already worked in this field before. And also because of I would say there's high demand and you already have hands-on experience, like you have worked with a company. And I mean, after like the first 6 months, you have been treated most times like a full-time worker. You literally be doing from A to Z. Maybe someone supervising, you get a mentor, and that's it. So I would say yes in some area, in some field, than in some. So it just depends. And also depend on the way you place yourself in the market as well.
And your bargaining power and things like that.
Yes, yes.
I always feel like there's no straightforward way when it comes to salaries and things like that because no matter what you have as qualification, most often than
Mhm.
not is how you're able to,
Yeah.
negotiate what the company is able to offer. Some companies, no matter what the expense you carry come, they cannot pay you plenty money, they cannot pay you plenty money.
Yeah.
So I think all those things influence even the city that you're staying in,
Mm.
the field as well that the house building in this case would be in. I think all of that too would also influence whether you're earning more or earning less. So I would always say that people should not focus so much on is the salary more or is the salary not more.
It
Probably
differs. It differs so bad.
yeah.
Like I know a lot of people I did an hospital with, and when they tell me their salary, I'm like, "Well, I need to change my company ASAP." And then some people will tell me their salary. I'm like, "Hey, Egbami, God, thank you." So like,
Yeah.
there is such a huge difference sometimes, and you're just like, "Okay, how did this happen?" So I think it depends on your region, your area. Like you already said, what the company, what's their budget? Because best believe before they put a job out there, they already have a budget. Whether you decide to not say that you want to cross, they're not consign them. They didn't
Not
say you
concerned,
this year. It
exactly.
didn't day. It didn't day.
Didn't they? True, very true. Then
Yeah.
someone asked as well, say, can an average student do nursing house building? Can an average student do nursing house building? Again, pronounce this word properly.
But what do you mean by average? What am I supposed to understand under average?
Yeah, so please, if you can
Average in
clarify this.
academics. Average in what?
I would imagine that the person means maybe the person is not really a very book, not much of a bookworm, because the general idea, general cons or the general imagination, that might be correct anyway, is
Mhm,
that people who go into the medical field, so nursing, medicine, all these kinds of things, you must be
mhm,
really, really super smart,
mhm.
because you're doing a lot of really, really maybe not technical, but really, a lot of things anyway.
Yeah.
So I imagine that's what the person is looking at. Say probably this person is not like super smart, but can this person still do a nursing hospital?
Now, so the good thing about hospital is that you don't get what you're not being taught as exam, for example, or as a test. And I would want to imagine university study is more of you have to teach yourself a lot of stuff. You have to do your research yourself a lot of times. Why? An Ausbildung is basically like you're going to school. So we have Blockunterricht. Blockunterricht is basically maybe you go 3 months to the company and then you go 2 months to school. While you also have I don't remember the word anymore, but it's kind of like mixed. So you are, let me say, Monday to Wednesday you'll be in the company, Thursday to Friday you will be in school. So basically everything they're teaching you in school is exactly what is going to come in your exam. And the German system is built in a way that you it's not only the person that got a one that is going to pass. So one,
Mm,
two, three, four, it's still going to be stating there you are a nurse. It doesn't that if you apply for a job, they're not asking you, come on, what did you get in your exam? You're a nurse, you're a nurse, if that makes
mm,
sense. So like there is no pressure per se to be like the best in class. I remember me doing my hospital first, second, third year. Trust me, I was I was just going to school for going to school sake. And then during my final exam, obviously I had to buckle up a bit, and yeah, that was it. Today, all the application I've sent, I don't think anybody have ever asked me what did you get in your absolute prüfung.
mm.
Some company will
I think
ask
that
you, but it's rare.
Yeah, I don't think anybody asked. I don't think anybody asked that. But I think it's a valid question. So
Mhm.
yeah, Olagunju, you don't need to be like a genius to do this. You don't need to be like the smartest person. Just like I said, this thing is is largely practical based. So you are actually going to be doing lots of hands-on things. Of course, there'll be a lot of studying, and all behind the scenes. But you
Yeah.
don't need to be a genius. You can survive um even if you think you're an average student. The funny thing is sometimes people that used to think they're average students are not actually average. Are probably
That's
better than what yes. They just believe in their mind that they're average, but it's not. It's just
yeah,
that
not, yeah.
just life is just happening the way it is happening.
Yeah.
Okay. Another person about we have even left our questions totally now. I'm just going back on what is here, but it is important. So somebody asked, sorry, okay, I forgot to ask. Okay, say please, what is the minimum German language proficiency level for Ausbildung, or can it be done in English language?
Okay. Now, generally, right, I will recommend a B2. Right now, if you're at B1 level, you can apply for, okay, let me just say this before we get into that. So you can start a hospital twice a year, which is mostly February or August. So that's basically the school starts most time. There are some hospitals that start in September, but it's also very I would say it's more of handwerkliche hospital. So things like painter, plumbers, builders, starts in September. But if you're going to do something like nursing, logistic, retail, it's mostly February or August. Now, with that being said, now I've forgotten my question again.
The question was language proficiency.
Language proficiency, thank you. So I would say B2 personally, but if you have a B1, you can apply for maybe August this year, for example, and try get yourself to B2 till that point. See when you start your Ausbildung, because now you will need German in school, you will need German at your workplace because you're working with Germans, right? You don't expect them to be speaking English with you. Now there are some rare cases. Funny enough, I found out that my logistic Ausbildung, my school actually offers an English program in Hamburg.
Really? This is
Yeah,
the first time I'm hearing it.
fully
This is
English. So
very
they have
first
like
time.
an English class, and in my head I'm like, where was I? Why didn't I know? I would have been like the best probably in my class. That's what I think
Oh,
anyway. I
that's
don't.
interesting.
Yeah, and
But I
then
believe they are very rare. Yeah, English Ausbildung will be very rare to find.
but that's like the school part now, because if you're doing dual program, it's school and practical, right? So the school
Ah,
is doing it in English. Doesn't necessarily mean that when you go to the company, it's going to also be in English. But that
true.
might be a compensation so that okay, academically you like it to be in a language you fully understand, and maybe when it comes to work, you just try and cope, right? And then another thing I found out is that you can also combine, so I don't know if this school decided to bring out all this program after I've left. So you can do an Ausbildung and a bachelor degree together, which is now 4 years. So my
Oh,
Ausbildung normally
really?
is 3 years. It's actually on
This is
their homepage.
interesting. Oh, this is
Then
interesting.
I was like, wait, how do I ever apply? Because normally you apply to a company. The company will register you to the school. Now, the registration with the school is none of your business. They will give you the registration and tell you this is your school, this is where you go, you show up there, and that's it. So I'm thinking, how do I even like how am I supposed to know there is English program or anything? So if I
Mhm.
was to do an Ausbildung again today, I'll probably check the field, check the school that is responsible for this Ausbildung in my city, because it's just one school most times. It's not as if there are different schools. So if you are doing a logistic Ausbildung in Hamburg, there's just one logistic Schule. If you are doing it in Schleswig-Holstein, there's just one logistic school. So every company in Schleswig-Holstein sends their Atubis to that school. Everybody in Hamburg sends their Atubis to that school. So maybe check on the school website if they offer English program, that you can also mention it during your application that, oh, I would love to be registered to the English class, because those are things I didn't know, for example, but they actually exist. I don't know now if it's just logistic or if it also exists in other field, but I know because that's my field now. So yeah,
Super.
but
That's actually super interesting.
mhm.
So at the end of the day, you would say that the minimum requirements would be a B1, because
Yeah.
this new information of being able to do English in the school is most likely going to be limited to the school, since you will need to do the German, you will need to do the work in German in your company. So let us, even in our mind, just remove the English and just work with the German.
The German, you are in the safe side. Yes.
Yes, you're always safe. Besides, in fact, and now even for students coming to study, now I'm even recommending, if you can do your course in German, do it, because to force you to learn the language already, then you
Mhm.
get to school and you improve. Because people like us now that we came to study in English, we are seeing our eyes, we are seeing shaggy.
Yeah,
So
why do you need German now?
I'm going through a lot. I'm going through a lot to learn this language. So so let's just focus on the B1 German. Okay. Lux, you can go ahead and ask your question, please. It doesn't matter the field, really. Then someone asks, can one switch from a public university in Germany to Ausbildung maybe after a year?
I don't think there is any deadline for you not to switch to an Ausbildung or anything. If you want to do an Ausbildung, the first step is make sure you get your Ausbildung space. If you get your Ausbildung space, trust me, the German government itself, they are happy that you want to learn something, because that guarantees you having a job after you're done. Like I said, I don't know anybody that has an Ausbildung that don't have a job, except the person decide I don't want to work currently or for some certain private reason, not because they don't have a job. So the government should be happy that you are doing an Ausbildung most time. And I don't think you have to wait a year, 6 months. If you come to Germany as maybe as an international student and you think, oh, I want to do an Ausbildung, and you find an Ausbildung space, that would probably be the most difficult part, getting an Ausbildung company that wants to take you as their Atsubi. If you get that, then I thought you just tell the government, oh, I have an Ausbildung now, I've decided to change my career path. And in Germany, nobody is forcing you to stay in one place. If you even start the Ausbildung after a year and 6 months and decide, no, this is not the Ausbildung for me, I want to do another Ausbildung, you look for a company, just like you're applying for a job, and change. Yeah. That's it.
Interesting. That's very important to know, because there are some people who get into school here, eventually, and at some point it's really stressful. The truth is, not everybody needs to go to the university. The one that works for you, just follow that path and just be there. This life, all you need to do is make money to survive. That's all we need.
Yep.
That's all we need. Anything that will stress you, avoid it. And we can do that. Then someone said, can I do a master's in Ausbildung? What is a master's in? Let me just ask you anyway. Person said, can I do a master's in Ausbildung?
You can, yes and no.
What is the master's in Ausbildung?
I don't know if it means that maybe becoming a master or like a specialist in your field or something, but probably not master degree like a academic degree. I don't know if it's the same master that I understand that he's asking.
I think, okay, the person asked again, so if I already have a degree, can I do a master's in it, please? Yes, if you have a degree, you can do a master's degree, but it's a university program you're going for to do a master's. For Ausbildung, you don't have bachelor's and master's and all those things the way you have in university. So for Ausbildung, it's different. You just go, it's vocational training. So you just go for your training, you get certified, and you start to work. Of course, with every field comes further learning. So if you decide that you want to go ahead to improve what you have, and that is of course possible. However, is it possible now? Probably this could be a better way for the question. Is it possible that you finish your Ausbildung now, and then after you do the Ausbildung, can you then decide to switch to academics, normal, that's regular university? If you want to switch a regular university, would you have to do a BSc first, a bachelor's first, before a master's? Or can you just you say you do Ausbildung in nursing, and then let me not use nursing. Let me say you do Ausbildung in yes, let's use nursing. Let's say you do Ausbildung in nursing. Can you then go ahead and then apply for a master's in nursing? I guess maybe that's the question, really.
So an Ausbildung is not equivalent to a bachelor degree that you normally use to do a master program, right? But you can further your education when you have an Ausbildung degree in terms of you going to uni or getting an academic degree to like back it up. So currently I'm working full-time and studying part-time. Now, at the end of my whole study program, which is going to end very soon by God's grace, the title I'm getting is Bachelor of Professionals. So it's equivalent to a bachelor degree, but it's not your regular Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, and it's basically business management general. So I have I'm in a business field when you do logistic, retail, so it's kind of like business-based field. So I decided to do a further education to have a Bachelor of Professionals. Now, with the Bachelor of Professionals, I cannot decide to apply to a uni to do like a master's, for example. Now, it depends on the uni. It depends on their requirements for the program. Some unis will tell you need to have 10 years work experience. Some will tell you need to have 5 years work experience, and you have to show that you actually work for 5 years, whether it's your payslip, whether it's a company's letter or something. You need to have like this further education that I'm doing. So you have gone to an extra maybe 3 years of school while working full time. So you have a Betriebswirt or a Fachwirt. So you have to show. So it's a bit longer, but it's not impossible, if that makes sense. Alexa, keep quiet. My Alexa is busy. So it's a bit longer, if that makes sense, but it's definitely possible. Like if you check on Hamburger Uni-Seite, there are there are uni programs that will tell you you can also apply if you have been working in this field for the past so and so years, for example. So that's a place you can further your education, for example. Yeah.
Okay, that's very, very, very important. I never knew this. You see, this is why we need to bring in people that know what is going on and what they are saying. Because someone asked me now, and I said no, it's not possible. But
No, it
that's
actually is. It actually is. Yeah.
yeah, just that it's a longer run. So that's really, really cool. I hope the question
Let
is
me just
properly
also add,
answered.
for
Mm-hmm.
example, now the new program logistics school in Hamburg has, which is combining Ausbildung and bachelor degree, for example. Now, this is just instead of a 3 years Ausbildung, you'll now have to do it for 4 years, which will give you a bachelor degree at the end. Now, when you have that, you can do your master's, your doctorate, your PhD, and so on and so forth, for example.
Mhm.
Yeah, so depends on
Cool.
what you're doing.
Cool. Maybe you should actually make a more detailed video on this so that people can actually come and get all the. Meanwhile,
We'll get to
on
it.
her channel, you can check. She has put up a lot of things on Ausbildung and all of that. So please, you can check out her channel, Miss Allery, as well, and you can get more information on Ausbildung. And you can send her an email or something. She'll, I don't know. She'll be able to further further discussion in case we're not able to cover everything that pertains to that today. But I hope that so far this has been helpful. The next question here, somebody said, how true is this information? I got? I'm planning to visit my husband in Germany for a short visit visa. And within that 3 months, can my husband and I apply for a residence permit? No, you cannot.
Short visit is short visit, though.
Yes, you cannot. You cannot change your tourist visa to a residence permit. You have
Yeah.
to go back and apply again and stuff. So my recommendation would be that if your husband is here, if he's working, apply for a family reunion. That would be better. Although to be fair, family reunion is taking forever now because I don't know what we have done to these guys. If you are from the West African part of the world, I don't know what we have done to these guys. It takes forever for family reunion to work. But if you are not from West Africa, if you're from other parts of Africa or other parts of the world, it's a bit faster for those parts. But if you are like Nigerian, Ghanaian, things like that, family reunion visa takes super, super long now. You can also look for other ways to move. You can come as a language course, that
Mhm.
gives you a visa to come in. And with a language course, you can, of course, switch to the language course visa, you can switch to any other thing. But with a visit visa, you can't switch your residency. You can come to study. You can
Mhm.
come for several other things that you can come with, which is usually a long-term visa that you will get for. But as long as it's within the 3 months visa, which is a tourist visa, you can't do that. So I would not even advise you to, because the concept I imagine is that you're coming to meet your husband so that you guys can then finally be together. There's no point doing that. You just be going back and forth, back and forth. These people, they use to do shaggy.
See, yeah.
Don't
Oh,
bother.
Jesus. Avoid Ausländer beholder.
Avoid it. Except you want to go and be doing, because those things, some people talk about how you can do some of these things and it's not a legal, it's not like a legal path. Don't do
Mhm.
it, my sister. Don't do it. Anything that you need to do in this country that will make you to be running up and down, to be hiding when police is coming, don't do it.
But if you
Just
can get a visa to come and visit your partner, then I think you doing family reunion is also possible. It might take longer, like you already
take
said.
longer.
That's a safer route for you, actually.
Safer and better. You'll have peace of mind.
Yeah.
Gently. So, okay. Then another question was, is my Duolingo German language score good enough to prove my German proficiency?
Nope. So you need to undergo a proper German test. So Göttingen Institute, for example, is a recommendation where they actually give you a test, you write the exam, and then ascertain that you are in a B1 level or B2 level. Yeah.
Duolingo is just a learning platform. They are not an
Mhm.
official language
Yeah.
certification platform or something. So that doesn't work. I hope this is helpful. Somebody said, can I switch from computer science to nursing house building, and can I get it on my own from Nigeria without an agent?
Yep, you can. I mean, there are platforms where you can get Ausbildung beruf. Now, if you have the requirements to get an Ausbildung and you actually get it, you don't need any agent per se. An agent, I don't know, is the agent from Nigeria or the agent is in Germany? Maybe if the agent is in Germany, it makes things easier, maybe helping you look for a job, talking to companies or something, but that's also not a guarantee. If not, I will just research online nursing Ausbildung in Germany, apply to them directly. They'll get in contact with you, go for your online interview. Thank God we have internet nowadays, so nobody has to represent you. Go for your online interview, and yeah, when you get the space, you use your Ausbildung to apply for a visa to come to Germany for your studies, and that's it.
Yeah,
I
generally,
think
I would say,
the part now that you should think about is the German language, if it's there already. Yeah.
yes, yeah. So I don't think it doesn't matter what background you come from, really, as long as you have I'm correct, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter your background, as long as you find a place. If you find a place, apply apply for your visa, and that's it. And generally, you don't need agents. But I always tell people this thing: you don't need anyone to help you do anything. To be fair, you can do all of these things yourself. It will take time, of course, because you
Mhm.
need to research, you need to read everything carefully, but you can do all of these things yourself, because the government is not working with any agents. The
That's true.
companies are not working with any agents.
Yeah.
So you can as well do these things by yourself, and you won't be spending as much money as you will spend on
I
agents.
mean, that's how we
How
have YouTube now. People have content out
Yes,
there to actually help you, like
to give
site
you
search for Ausbildung, how to go about it. So,
a
yeah.
lot of this information is out there. YouTube videos, everything is super, super helpful. You can do that. However, sometimes you might need somebody to maybe um give you some sort of direction. I think, in my opinion, sure, I might be wrong, but in my opinion, I think it will be cheaper for you to meet someone who does like consultation. For example,
Mhm.
let's say success now decides that, okay, she'll be putting a consultation. Maybe she'll charge you maybe 50 euro or 60 euro or 100 euro for whatever, for an hour of talking to her. That within that 1 hour, you come and ask all your questions, go through everything, all the
Mhm.
information that you might be lacking. She'll be able to guide you properly through the process, without necessarily, she won't be doing anything for you, of course, but it will be like a guidance. Okay, you can do this, this is possible. The person asks question, you can ask question that maybe you don't want to go and be looking for on the internet by yourself. You can
Mhm.
ask, and that's it. That will be a lot cheaper for you than paying an agent. It's not to say that you should not do agents if you can afford it. Why
But
not?
what Gongo is the agent going to do? The agent is not going to, is it going to write application for you, or like, I don't understand what's the role of the agent inside?
Yeah, you know what I love. You know what most people do, even for studies. So once people go through an agent, so the agent helps them do like the application, for
Oh.
example. So
Mhm.
do all those filling, do the actual work of writing your letter, doing this one, applying to the school or applying to the company, maybe not company in this case, for house building, to the company or whatever. So
Mhm.
something like that, they kind of do it for you. You pay for that service. Even though
Mhm.
sometimes some of these agents make you feel like they're the ones getting the stuff. It's not true. It's the same thing that you could have done um
Yourself,
by
actually, yeah.
yourself. Yes, it's just
Mhm.
simply they're just doing middleman work for you and things like that. So yeah, I hope we have clarified that. Okay. Somebody said I jumped his question. No. Which question did I jump? Let me go back. Shada. Mary, I did not see your question that I jumped to. Okay, but I saw your next question. I hope I hope this is the question, but I didn't see a previous question before this one, so I'll just ask this one. So, can you talk more about logistics professional Ausbildung and what they do?
Oh, that's a good one. Um, so logistic, what do we do? Freight forwarding and logistic. So basically, import, export of shipments, right? So logistic has different sectors. You have the road feeder service or road freight logistic. I did my hospital in a road logistic company, so with truck drivers and trailers and stuff. You also have sea freight, you have air freight. Currently, I work for an air freight company in the export department. You also have train logistic, if that's the name for it. So logistic has different sectors. Now, if you're going to do a logistic hospital, for example, like I did in the air carriage expedition, which is truck loading and stuff, um, hospital. If you're going to do that, it doesn't mean you stay there. So you are not going to be called a truck specialist, for example. You are a logistics specialist. So with any way you want to go later and decide, oh, I want to do sea freight, I want to do air freight, for example, you can. Now, when the school or what the school does for you, for example, when you're doing logistic hospital, is that they teach you these different parts of logistic, from warehousing to sea freight to air freight. I've heard of air freight logistic when I was in class in year two, even though I was not doing it in my company. So I knew, oh, you have something like a shipper, a consignee, a notified party. You have to scan the shipment. You have to organize this. This is Incoterms, FOB, they are paid, they pay, blah, 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 blah. You need a IMO declaration. So you learn all these things theoretically in school. So when you are going to now apply for a freight forwarding job in air freight, for example, you are not per se new to it. It might be the first time you are not doing it practically, but you already have the knowledge, if that makes sense. Now, it's always the same process throughout the whole let me say field. Now, if you're going to do a document for road logistic, for example, you call it a CMRO, but it's the same. You write a shipper, you write a consignee, you write a notified party. If you are doing it for sea freight, it's called a master BA or house BA. House BA. I'm not speaking English. I
Shall
was
jump
speaking
together.
house BA, master BA, house master BA. It's the same process of shipper, consigning, notify. So like the documents are almost the same, just different meaning and different formation or different layout of the document. So the processes are almost the same. Air freight might require you to always secure the shipment because I mean it's air freight. Even if you are traveling safe, they scan your bag and yourself and everything before you enter the plane. So like there are tiny minimal differences, but you have basic knowledge of what it is that you are doing, if that makes sense.
Cool.
And no, even if you are just coming from a university or whatever, any job you start, there's always a phase of them teaching you what they do in the company.
Learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, mhm.
Fantastic. Okay, so Mary, I hope that has been helpful. Someone said, with a language visa, do we need a blocked account? Yes, you need a blocked account for anything you want to do in this country. That means coming here. You need the reason why you need the blocked account is because you need to sponsor or support yourself here. However, blocked account is not the only way to show your proof of fund. You can also show proof of fund if you have someone to write you a sponsorship letter, for example. Let's say you have a friend or you have a family member, or you have somebody here who is living here, working here, and the
Yep.
person can write you a sponsorship letter. That
Yep.
also covers. So for a language visa, yes, you need a blocked account. You also need to think about the money that you use to pay the language school, because language school is not free like university or something, or Ausbildung, for example. So
Mhm.
language school, you pay for it. So that's also another expense that comes with the language visa. But yes, you need to show proof of funds, either blocked account or a sponsorship letter or something like that. Okay, super. Next question is, when working as a nurse in a German hospital, and you desire to further your studies, will it still be in the Ausbildung pathway or the university pathway?
Or the what?
University pathway.
If you're going to further your education in anything, further means you have a basis already, right? That's what I would think. So your basis already is already nursing. So you have to um further learning in nursing. Now, if it's not a bachelor program or just becoming a specialist so that you can run a department in your hospital, for example, or become like a chief nurse or something, that I cannot decide. It will be more of, oh, this is what I want to do, or you researching what are the further program I can do under nursing, and you applying for one of those programs. So I don't think it's something I can tell you, oh, for this job, you have to do this learning, this learning, this learning. Depends on where you want to see yourself. For example, if I'm going to say, oh, I want to be a team leader or a team leader in a logistic company in the export, for example, then I'll probably take training of how to lead a team, take training of how to deal with company demands and calculations and stuff, just to enhance my level of knowledge in that field before applying for a leadership position, if that makes sense. So it depends on what you want to do or where you want to be and what's
And
out
what
there.
path you're coming from.
Yeah, yeah. I cannot from logistic now say I want to go and forward my education in nursing from where to where. Like
True.
is two different words. That makes sense.
Super. Okay, so Kimani, I hope that is clear enough. Somebody said, "Are you guys sisters?" We are not sisters, but
Like,
thank you for the kind words.
it's the glasses. The glasses are deceiving.
It's glasses. And that's but thanks, thank you. Then this person asked, are there courses that specifically fall under Ausbildung and others that can be done at the university?
Now, I already said, I think I've said this in one of my videos. If you think of anything you want to do, there is an Ausbildung course for it. Anything you want to do, there is an Ausbildung course for it. If you want to be building tables and chairs, you do a Ausbildung to Tischler. If you want to be cooking in the hospital, you do a Ausbildung to chef. If you want to be working in the IT company, you do an Ausbildung to Informatica. If you want to be in logistics, do an Ausbildung to Speditionskauffrau. So anything you can think about, there's always a university study for it and also an Ausbildung study or course for it, if that makes sense. I don't know if I understood the question well. So I can't tell you, oh,
Yeah.
this one you can only do hospital, this one you can only do anything you want to do. It's just for you to decide, okay, do I want to go the academic way or do I want to go the more practical way?
Practical way.
Yeah.
I think generally, just like you said, every single thing you can think of, you can do with Ausbildung.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, but I doubt for university you can do that for university for every. For example, there's no university course that does painting that teaches you painting. There might be a course that teaches you how to manufacture paint, but there won't be a course that teaches you painting. That would be much more Ausbildung related. So I think in this regard, that's actually the advantage that Ausbildung has over our university sometimes, that you have the field is super wide, you can do whatever
Yeah.
it is you want to do. So that's super great. So but for university, it's most likely if you're going to be doing if you're going to be doing anything that is vocationally related, you're most likely not going to be able to do it as a university program because there's no facility to train you in that regard in the university program.
Yeah, makes sense.
So
'Cause
like doing furniture, making furniture and stuff, you won't go to university to do that. You go to hospital to do that. But you
maybe
can do
design
IT.
furniture, for example, will be
Yeah, maybe to design furniture, yes, you can do that because it's much
like
more theory.
manufacturing. Yeah, makes sense.
That anything that is not practical, anything that is fully practical, you cannot do it in university because you'll be doing it in maybe an overgeneralization, but I hope you get the point.
Like it's more rare, if that makes sense.
Yes,
Some
it's more
university may
yes,
offer it, but it's not. Yeah.
exactly. Okay, super. Hey, these people that are saying I jumped their question, please can you repeat your question because I'm so sorry I missed some. Okay, I think I've seen the question. Lux, I've seen your question. Said I'm so sad because when she wanted to answer my question, my data got finished about joining. Oh, please, I'm sorry. I think we answered the question. Yes, so that means you're not here when we answered it. We talked about the visa. That no, you cannot come to. You can't change a visiting visa to a residence permit. If you're coming to Germany to visit, you would have to go back to apply for another visa. Then we talked about how that you can instead do a family reunion.
Yeah.
That would take some time, of course, and unfortunately, for us now, especially in sub-Saharan Africa, it takes us even a lot more time. Right? And if I was talking to someone today who told me that the waiting period now to get your visa appointment now is 42 months, between 21 to 42 months, yes, to get your
Months.
visiting.
Have you weeks?
In fact, months. Let me be sure of this, because I just chatted with this person some minutes ago. So let me see what they said. 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. So that I'm certain that that's the figure they gave me. In fact, I lie. Oh, it's not 42. I've lied. Sorry, I'm so sorry, guys. It's 21 to 22 months. Sorry. 21 to 22 months to wait for your visa, and then 4 to 6 months for when after you've done the visa appointment to then get the visa. So it takes some time. However, they are telling us now that they are bringing in new ways, trying to go digital, trying to make processes faster and things like that. Hopefully that can cut down some time on the waiting period for all of this. So hopefully that can work. Other ways that you can do as well, you can come to study and then join your husband. You can come to do language school and join your husband. You can come to do any other thing and join your husband, but you cannot come to visit.
Yeah, I think the visiting visa has a bit more stricter rules.
Yes, you can do au pair self and come with your husband. You can do, but au pair, I don't know. I think there are age restrictions on au pair. You can do volunteering service. Then there's no age restriction.
I'm not sure.
Okay. You can do volunteering service. So there are lots of, and in the last video, I shared 10 different pathways that you can use to come to Germany. But all those pathways, the only one that keeps you in Germany is a long stay visa, which means you're staying in Germany for longer than 90 days. Anything less than 90 days, or anything 90 days and below, it's not something that you can change to a residence permit. Okay, so I hope that works. You can even apply for a job, and come to Germany.
Yep.
All of that. And then the person said, is there any visa for fashion designer? So there's a visa for freelancers. So I imagine a fashion designer will fall under a freelancer. But freelance visas are very difficult to get, because with freelance visas, you need to have a good portfolio. You need to have customers. You need to have a client list. And you're not just coming to say, I'm going to look for the client. They're supposed on there already, before all of that. So if you're coming to do that, then except you're coming to do the Ausbildung in fashion design, then you're coming for an Ausbildung. But now you're doing it in fashion, so that's tailoring and things like that, right?
Mode designer,
and stuff like that. Okay, so Lux, I hope that is helpful. Okay, we've answered Kimani. Then okay, somebody said, please talk about how to navigate the airport when you arrive in Germany for Ausbildung, and when you arrive in Germany for Ausbildung and there's no one to pick you up. How do you find trains to go to where they booked accommodation?
If you get to the airport. Okay. Yeah, it's. So I will assume you already have accommodation, like you already said. So you just arrived Germany, you are at the airport. If you're at the airport, if you have more chances to get someone that speaks English. So just ask for direction. You need to go to so and so place, or maybe have extra change to get a taxi. If it's not far, so you check the distance from the airport to your apartment. If it's not that dramatic, like if it's not 50 kilometers, for example, you can take a taxi, and maybe also research or check how much this taxi will cost around roughly, right? Another thing you can do is, if you what's it called, have a friend or someone here, ask them to come and get you. I mean, it's your first time, they will definitely create time to come and get you. Like, come on. If not, every airport actually has a train station, I think. So Google Maps, you can easily get to, from any airport in Germany, you can easily get to the city center with a train or a bus. You have Flixbus as well. You have so many other options, but it depends on the distance that you want to go. If it's not that far, take a taxi. To probably save you a lot of stress from the first day. or get someone to come and get you if you have anyone. If you don't, try and navigate with Google Maps and asking questions when you get to the airport, actually.
Very, very important, because all of these things on from, just like she said, from the airport, usually there's a train usually at the
Yeah,
airport. It's just a question of asking somebody, say, where is the train or something. You
yeah,
could also go to the information desk. So at the train station places thingy or something, there'll usually be an information desk where you can then ask the person, say, I'm going to so and so place, so help me out. And usually those guys can speak English, except the person just wants to be mean, mean, or except if it is like an interior place. But most often than not, in the city center, they usually can speak English. So if you just tell them you can only speak in English, they would help you. Of course, if you're coming to do house building, it means your German is already, it's not help me German. Your German is already good, and hence we can already have a conversation in German. But very important, it would be good that you install a few apps on your phone to also help you. So if you don't have a map app on your phone, you should have one. If you don't have a translator app on your phone, you should have try to have one. So
search
that
one.
easy. Yeah, try and get internet. So if it means getting an eSIM, you can get an eSIM already before you arrive here, so that you are sure that you have internet, so that you can easily connect. However, you would find internet at the airport, at the train stations and stuff. You can always get Wi-Fi there. So all of these things you can already prepare yourself beforehand. So I hope this is helpful. Okay, Zoe said, can I do house building even if I have a bachelor's degree from my home country? I think we've answered this before. And we said yes, you can do an house building regardless of what background you have. So
Yeah.
yes, you can.
Mhm.
Okay. This person said, is it a requirement to have experience working in the hospital to be eligible for nursing house building? I am transitioning from computer science.
Nope. An hospital does not require you to have any formal experience in the field. That's why you're being trained to have the experience to now become a professional in the field. So if you are doing computer science before and you want to become a nurse, apply to hospitals, to private clinic, to house arts, kinder arts, wherever there is hospital spaces, and probably they will ask you at the what's it called interview, why do you want to leave IT to nursing? I mean, yeah, and that's it. You don't need to have like formal experience or have worked in a hospital or anything. You might increase your chances by doing a practicum or volunteering to work for a hospital for some time, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks. If you grew up in Germany or if you went through, I'll say secondary school level in Germany, there's something called Praktikumswoche or Practicums Week where you get to apply for practicum in jobs. So I did a practicum in sales before. I did a practicum in the kindergarten before, and kindergarten for me was, nah, I'm not doing this. So I already knew from the practicum I'm not going to do it. But I can also put it in my application that, oh, I did a practicum in a kindergarten. That's why I fell in love with the job, blah, 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 just for backup sake. But it's not a necessity, actually. That's if you just want to do it. It's not a necessity. Also for you to check if it's something you want to do
Mhm.
instead of you investing a year, 2 years, and then finding out, no, this is not for me. So
Know what you want to do.
yeah.
True. I think even in Nigeria too, you can apply for some practical experiences as well. So of course, most often than not, they're not going to pay you. So
Mhm.
um you can do. I personally always recommend to people, especially students, that see any opportunity you get during studies or whatever, just go and look for something and attach yourself to them and learn. Tell them that you don't mind coming here for free every day. A lot of people like cheap or free labor, so go
Yeah.
and render your services to them for free. I'll be coming to the hospital every day to help people clean or whatever, especially if you know one auntie where they just go and greet the auntie very well and tell her, say, please, I want to do this, da, 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 da. That person, I imagine, that will be able to help you to say, okay, we're not paying you, we don't have money. Okay, no problem. You do that for 1 week or a month or 2 months. At least with that, his experience is experience. You've had it. You write it in your CV anytime that you have it, you
Yeah.
know. And then that could always be some sort of extra. But just like she said, it's not something that you must do that way.
Mhm.
Oh my God, we have spent almost an hour and we've not answered all the questions here. We have not. Sometimes I hope we can still keep you a little bit longer. Is this okay?
No
Because I
problem.
still have I still have like 5 questions that we have not answered on the from the chat.
Let's go.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Next question. Next question. Is it allowed to apply from my home country for Ausbildung for medical technical assistant, biological technical assistant, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so that we don't spend a lot of time on this. We've already said previously before now that you can apply from anywhere and you can apply for anything. So yes, you can do that. And then is it true that kindergarten teachers Ausbildung? Is it true that kindergarten teacher Ausbildung? I wanted to apply, but a friend in Germany advised me against saying they pay peanuts. Tell us.
I don't know who's advising you. It's very important to know who's advising your advisor.
But I think I do agree that generally kindergarten teachers are not paid as much like
What's
that
much?
generally.
What's much?
Yeah. Very good question. Much is relative.
What's much for you? Now, another thing is that I think there's also mistake. I think it's part of what I wanted to also discuss. Mistake foreigners make is we raise our expectations so high.
Why?
And I mean, everybody wants to make money. I'm not going to work because I'm in love with my job. I'm going to work because I want to make money, right? But I mean, I can't. My job doesn't. I will not say I hate my job. I actually love my job. Funny enough, right? So I would say focus on things that are actually meaningful because your earning depends on the company, your work experience, your location, the way you bargain. Like it depends on so many factors for you to just categorize one Ausbildung as this Ausbildung doesn't give enough money or salary. And then another thing is you need to understand that work experience is key. You cannot expect a kindergarten worker that has been working in a kindergarten for 15 years to be earning as someone that just finished Ausbildung, for example. It doesn't work that way. Like it's not. I don't want to say I know person that know person. Like it doesn't work that way. They are going to pay you according to your experience. Sometimes, I mean, I went to a Beverly an interview, right? And I told this man, CCC, what I want to have, and the guy was like, "At this your age, what do you need that kind of money for?" And in my head, I'm just like, "Did you see my experiences at this my age?"
Yeah.
So I think it depends on your experience. I would not say a kindergarten teacher ends terrible or bad. Actually, they don't, funny enough. They actually don't. And if you do something like a kindergarten teacher, you must not stay in kindergarten. You can also transition to become a caregiver in preschool, for example, in primary school. So there are people that if you have a child in Germany, for example, after studies, there are people that take care of these kids till sometimes 6 p.m. till their parents come and pick them. So it also depends on the field you later find yourself or your job giver, right? So I can't,
Caregiver.
yeah. So I can't
But
say endless actually.
at the end of the day, like we always say, salary is not the focus. But of course, it's important to think about salary and think about the growth trajectory and all of that. But if that's the only thing you're focusing on, then there'll be a lot of mistakes that you probably make because you make decisions not because you like this thing as much. You end up struggling, with the thing
Yeah.
that you're doing. Bear in mind that I from my understanding, the pay generally in Germany is fair. You are
Yeah.
not generally people they're not taking advantage of. It's generally fair. Cost of living in Germany is not as crazy as cost of living in America. But a lot of times, sometimes people compare salaries with places like America and Canada
You should
and
not be
UK and
comparing
places like
salaries
that.
with places like America.
So cost of living is completely different. Somebody that's earning 2,000 euros, for example, in Germany might be living much more comfortably than somebody that's earning $5,000 in America. So
Yeah, true.
bear that in mind that the cost of living in Germany is not as crazy. So salaries is something that one cannot say 100% this is how it should be or this is how it is. Unzo vital. Okay. Next, somebody's asking about nursing. So which this nursing question, I'm sorry, I'm not just going to read it. The reason why I'm not going to bother with it is because by on Saturday we're going to be having a nurse here who is a nurse in Germany. She'll be able to answer you answer your questions on nursing and working as a nurse and all those things. I have already made plans for that. So, in fact, she's even on the chat as well. So you can see her, Queen Esther. She'll be here on Saturday, and we're going to be talking about everything on nursing. So if you have any questions on nursing, you come and bombard her with it. She will answer you. She will answer you. Yeah, because
that's your plug. That's actually your plug.
Yeah. Exactly. She's your plug for everything nursing. Everything nursing. Even moving here, working here. She's your plug for it. So Success is not a nurse, so she cannot necessarily give you proper answers for questions regarding nursing. So Kimani, I'll just skip your question. Please don't be offended. I would appreciate it if you can show up on Saturday as well. We'll be here with Esther. You see how relevant
Maybe
the
screenshot
conversation
the
is going.
question and address it. Even if she's not there, she can rewatch the live.
Exactly. I would, yes, actually I should do that. I will I will save the question as a picture so that in case I don't see you, I will just ask it anyway. Doesn't mean you should not come or but I ask her whether you are here or not. So that even if you are not here, you can watch it in the replay and you can get the answer to your question. Okay. Next person said, can I do forex trading to make extra money during Ausbildung? That's the first question. Second question, do I have to visit the financial office first before I start?
So you can do anything with your Ausbildung. Also depends on your contract. Your company might require you that if you are doing anything outside of your Ausbildung, you inform them, or they will have to give you permission to do it. I think in also most working contracts is also like that. So if you want to take up a side hustle or something that is going to be giving you extra cash, you just inform your company, just for them also knowing. They might say no if it's in the same field that you're working in that is competitive to them or something. So I don't think there is any restriction for you to do anything in Germany. You can be doing an Ausbildung and decide to start small business, forex trade, whatever you want to start, as far as it's not distracting your Ausbildung and your company is not against it. Now, why I don't understand the second part of visiting.
That's if you need to meet finance arms before you start.
9, you don't need to meet anybody before you start. You're just so if you apply for an Ausbildung, you are getting a work contract. The only difference is you're not getting a full-time payment as a full-time.
No, I think he meant if you need to meet the finance arm before you start doing this extra business, this
No. You might need to register for Steuer and which is taxes and stuff, and it also depends on how much income is this thing making. If you're not making income that you need to pay tax, obviously you have to tell finance that yes, I'm making so and so. You don't even have to tell them. The way Germany is, they will write you letter. Or tell them yourself that you are making so and so money. They will give you a tax ID that your tax will be collected from and registered on that. And yeah, okay, now I get the question. So yeah.
Okay, so super. Yes, so you've gotten that. Or alternatively, when you reach here, you decide that you want to do any extra, you can consult maybe a tax advisor. Yes, you can consult them. It might not be super expensive to do, and you can actually ask them detailed question on, say, because you're doing a business. I think it's wise to do that so that you are safe. You are sure that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing when and how you're supposed to do them. But if you're already doing, for me, for example, I would say that if I've been doing maybe I'm in Nigeria now. I've been doing my forex sums in Nigeria, and the accounts I'm using to do is in Nigerian accounts, everything, all of that. I don't know whether I'm gonna be bothering myself to be trying to do it through my German account. I'll just be doing my things here in Nigeria. But please get proper financial.
You did not hear it from us.
If you are hear that one from me,
keep it in Nigeria. You're not concerned us with the
I did not know. Just I think it'd be good that you get proper a tax advisor to advise you properly on that, so that you're not making mistakes with that, because the finance people here, they're not playing. No, you will see them. They're not playing with their money. Okay. So the person said, okay, Kimani, is still the same question as for nursing. We've discussed that already. so we can do that. The same. I'm a data I'm a data scientist by profession, but I want to learn electrical just for the weekends. Is it possible? So he's a data scientist already, but he wants to learn electrical work. Is it electrical house building or I don't know. So, anyways, if it's an house
There
building,
is
is
an
it possible?
option to electrical, yeah, which is basically an electrician. Funny enough, most people that do things like electrical work, plumber, what's it called, flooring, painting, goes on to becoming entrepreneur themselves. So they tend to like, so they don't apply for job afterwards. They just become self-employed. So you also have that option that okay, after your training, you become
No,
self-employed. If
but
you
this
want
person
to
does
be
not
doing
want
it
to
for
leave his
just,
job. Oh. The person
if
doesn't
you
want to leave his data science job. He wants to still be doing data science. He wants to just be learning electrical thing during weekend. Is it possible?
So you're just doing it during weekend. You're just learning during weekend. I don't think an hospital would be the best idea for you. Maybe probably just look for someone that is an electrician that will take you to a few of his job, teach you some basics, and then you'll probably get private people that will give you jobs on eBay. But you doing it for weekend, I don't think now it's not possible because you have to go to school, and most times the schools are Monday to Friday, and most companies are also Monday to Friday. You can do hospital though in part time. So if you don't want to do like a full time 8 hours, 40 weeks, 40 hours a week Ausbildung, you can also tend to do some Ausbildung in part time. So maybe because you are a family person, you have kids, you cannot meet up with the time. Obviously, this will not take longer time. So you're no longer doing an Ausbildung for 3 years, it might be 4 years, 4.5 years or something. But not you saying, it's just going to be weekend. You have to see it as an Ausbildung is, even though your company might agree to just weekend, the school also have to agree to teaching you at just weekend, and they're not going to open a classroom for just one person, if that makes sense. So I
Mhm.
would say just look for someone that can teach you basics of electricity and stuff, and then get private jobs on eBay. On which other website can you get private jobs? Yeah, eBay is a
Don't
good one.
even know, but I think mostly I think there's some other website that you can also put. Anyway, it is what it is. Thank you for that. Somebody even answered. Somebody said if it's not freelancing or a business, you do not need to register, but you
Mhm.
need to file your tax returns in 3 years from the start. Always speak to a tax advisor, like I said before. So thank you, Emmanuel, for this response. Like I said before, talk to the people who sabi the thing,
Please, oh,
so
there are
that you're
people
not
that do the house belong in this field that specialize in it.
in it. Yeah, speak with them so that you don't walk the wrong path. So you're doing everything legit, okay? Say this person said, okay, Kimani, yes, I look forward to seeing you on Saturday. Thank you. Okay, the person said, I heard there's a contract from employers. I heard there's a contract from employers. Which one is not supposed to sign or it could lead to deportation? Please talk about this. I don't understand this question.
Contracts from employers?
Yes, I heard there's a contract from employers. Which one is not supposed to be, I think, not supposed to be signed, or it could lead to deportation.
Well, any contract, I don't know the question, Sha, but any contract you sign that you don't know the context of the contract, you can get a lawyer to fight the case, if that makes sense.
But
Right?
why would you sign
Obviously,
a contract if you don't know the context of the
that's what
contract?
I wanted to say. Obviously, any contract you are signing in Germany, please read this so carefully. Even give 2, 3 people to read it for you, and then do like a gathering meeting to analyze the contract before you sign it. I don't think there's a contract that will
That you be
lead.
given that you should not sign. I
And you
don't
are
know.
signing a deportation contract.
Yeah, I don't know. That the question is not quite clear. So, Vimba, if you can maybe clarify the question, it can make sense because I don't know if you are given a job and it's a contract, you have to sign it because it's a job contract.
Mhm.
I don't think nobody's going to be deporting him because he signed a job contract. It's a job. So
Except
maybe,
the only thing I can think of, depending on your resident permit or your visa or what's keeping you in Germany, that the foreigners office might require you to present any job before you take it. So maybe if you
oh,
go and take a job behind their back, start
ah,
working, it might lead to them saying, "Oh, yeah, come and pack your things and go." But apart from that, I don't know any other reason why you should be
yeah. And
deported.
usually for that they will tell you. So if, for
Yeah.
example, if your visa you have If it requires that if you need to change your job or whatever, they will tell you that you need to let them know
Mm-hmm.
that you are changing your job, which is usually the case for most people who get a work contract here in Germany. You usually have to report back to the foreigners office if you're changing your job. Well, depending on the visa that you have. So a blue card is slightly different, and stuff. So depending on the kind of visa that you have, like you said,
Yeah, yeah.
maybe that if that's what you're talking about, okay, then that makes sense. Okay, I skipped someone's question again. I'm sorry, oh
You say you're,
Jehovah God.
you're jumping my question.
Hey, I'm so sorry. Okay, Chika said,
That's
I
fine.
want to come into Germany via opportunity card and then seek an Ausbildung placement. We will get in the Ausbildung, still qualify one to apply for residence permit since you now have a job.
So if you come in with an opportunity card, I think if I understood very well what opportunity card is basically for you to get a job, right?
Yes.
So if you get an Ausbildung space, that is also fine, I think. But still do your research. But I think if you get an Ausbildung job and an Ausbildung contract is seen as a work
What
contract, just
contract?
that you are being trained the first 3 years. Now, after the 3 years, you're most likely going to get an employment letter from the company or another company, and then you present it again, and then probably you get a permit to stay for the period of time, or maybe they give you a 5 years, 2 years, 3 years permits, depending on the foreigner's office or what you already had beforehand. So I don't think an opportunity card is just for job alone. You can actually search for an hospital as well. Yeah.
Makes sense to me as well because the opportunity card is 1 year anyway,
Yeah.
and typically you can extend that 1 year. If you don't get a job within that 1 year, you can extend more. In fact, I learned that you can extend up to 2 or 3 years, but I'm not 100% sure on the number of years. But extension is possible. So if that's the case, I believe that you can, of course, get an house building placement. Um, and if you get that, you can do, of course, that works. But if
Yeah.
you feel that you still need to clarify, you're not very sure, you can always call the hotline for Make It in Germany. So Make It in Germany, go to the site Make It in Germany. There's a hotline there that you can call anytime, and if you have questions, you can ask. You can also write them an email, or you can do anything. So if you feel that maybe you're not very clear on the opportunity card thing, or anything, to be honest, um you can call them, so that they will respond to you. And from time to time they also hold like live sessions like this, but I think usually it's in German. I'm not quite sure now. Where they take questions, especially since this opportunity card came up, they've been holding 1 or 2 sessions here and there. So you might want to join that as well. Just go to the website, Make It in Germany, and you can always get a lot of information there. If you feel that you're not very clear on what it is that is being discussed, you can always ask them. You can send an email. People respond. It's not in Germany. It's not like I think most often than not, if you send emails, you generally get responses. Most often than not, you get a response. That call might take forever for you to connect, but be
Yeah, that's
patient.
true. Vacation. You listen to music. Yeah.
Yeah, you listen to music. I tried to call them one time. I think when the opportunity card started, I was calling to make inquiries about it. I stayed on the line. No, my eyes saw shade. So, so yes, that is possible. Okay. Robert said, I think you need to tell finance amps if you will withdraw from the forex. So the same thing. I think, is a response to the forex guy that I was asking as well. So
I
we've
think that
answered.
also depends where you will join. Are you will join in Nigeria? You're withdrawing in Europe. If you are withdrawing in
Exactly.
Nigeria, it didn't consign them. You didn't hear it
Exactly.
from me or do your
You not
research.
hear that yet. Make sure you get your tax advisor. It's very important. The good thing is that if you get a tax advisor, you are saving yourself a lot of troubles, because you get this person, you get all the information you need, and then you are sure that you're not making mistakes. Even if you decide that you want to be keeping your money in Nigeria or Ghana or wherever it is, at least you know that this is possible or it is not possible, it is
Yeah.
legal, it is not legal. It is important that you're clear on what is possible and what you're entitled to and things like that. So you're not making any mistake. Okay. Said if it is not freelancing or okay, so I've answered this one. Was an answer. Okay.
Okay,
Skip
yeah.
that. Where can I get my high school living certificate translated and certified? Do you know any websites or places?
Oh, I mentioned this in a video. I'm trying to remember. Wait, I've
For me, I
forgotten.
don't even know self.
I've forgotten
Translated.
the website name.
Okay, I'll just give you time to be searching for the website.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because honestly, I don't know this, so I would wait for you. Okay, Chika, I've answered your question now. Okay, super. You are dumping. You jump mind frog. I didn't talk about. Please talk about the shots cut. Oh my God, Lux, I'm sorry. I don't know how come I'm jump. I don't know how I'm jumping questions because I'm scrolling down like in sequence as it is coming. Probably it's just not probably it's not just coming up on my own end the way it is written. So Chika, what did you ask before? Okay, you asked about transfer card. Okay, so we've already answered that about the opportunity card. Super. I hope that's helpful.
So
Um
I can't find the website I mentioned in a video. Um, it's also on my YouTube page. Maybe you check that
or which
out.
video? Do you remember the video? Maybe the person can watch that
The
video.
video is wait, basics of vocational training, basics that you need to know about vocational training. But basically, let me just also put this out there. Now, if you have a general question, you can call 115. It's a, well, let's say, a citizen hotline in Germany, and ask them questions. So if you're in Hamburg, for example, and you call 115, it will direct you to the Hamburg 115 respond office. I also find out because if I'm in
But
my,
what if the person is not in Germany, the person is abroad, in Nigeria, for
okay,
example?
that would be a different case. They probably will do a research and mention it in a video or something. But if you're in Germany already, you can call 115 and ask them where you can get your certificates recognized in your city, and then they'll be able to help you out. Yeah.
Okay, cool. But beside that, she said she has talked about this in one of her videos. So basics for house building, something. So please check for the video, and you can also watch it since we can't lay our hands on it. Because you know some of this information, we have to get our first research. It's not as if we know it in our head. We have to first research and then put it together to present. So most often than not, you don't keep these things to memory. Okay. So do you know any websites where I can get my bachelor degree recognized to see if it's comparable to Germany? Yes, that is there's a website for it. I've forgotten the name now. 1 minute, I can just open because I have a link to it on one of my YouTube videos. So let me just open one of it and then just tell you the website already. For doing your comparability, blah 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 blah. Uh moment. Well, thank you so much, Success. So you have been so patient with us today. We appreciate it. Thank you. This is not in this one. Okay. Let's see the next one. Certificate of comparability. Aha, yes, I've seen it. It's called Anerkennung in Deutschland. So I'll copy the
That's
link and
the
I'll
website I
also.
also mentioned in the video.
Okay. So I'm
That
putting the link now to that website on the chat so that you can copy it, you can click on it, you can do whatever. I hope it is clickable. And I'll try to put this link on the description of this video when this video ends. I'll put the link there so that you can as well go to it some other time when you remember. So, like she said, this is the same link you can use to change your to
verify.
translate for translation, yeah?
Yep.
Okay. So super. And this will be the last question because we've been here for 1 hour 30 minutes. Any other question? Any other question? I'm sorry, we'll have to do another, probably another session some other time. But no, this is not that question. This is two last question before I now ask you my own last question. because I
Okay.
wanted because I wanted I wasn't
Last
even able to
question.
touch any question that any all the questions I came with, I didn't even touch them. But it's okay. It's all good. It said the statute of limitation is 9 years, so the financial office can audit you anytime during these 9 years. Please be careful and do it right from the start. Exactly. Exactly. This person is still talking about the finance act
Yes,
issue.
answer.
Please, let's do what is right from the
See,
beginning.
you
From the
don't
beginning. From the
you're not
beginning,
going to do
beginning.
anything wrong in
Don't in
Germany.
this
Don't play
country.
with your finance amt.
Don't play with it. If you want to even play with anybody, don't play with money people.
See,
They're not
especially when
joking
it
with
comes to
you.
their taxes, you can actually go to prison.
Yes, so don't play with them. I think beyond finance things and taxing, I think generally, especially as a foreigner, don't be doing anything that will make you to come and be answering question. Just do everything you're supposed to do from the beginning. Do it right.
Yep.
If you need to consult anybody, consult who you need to consult. Don't go and be doing anything crooked, because when it comes to bite you in the ass, it's usually very bad. And you're not the son of the soil. So a German now, maybe the person can break the law and maybe find a way, find their way. You they are a foreigner. Your own breaking the
We'll
law
drag
will work.
you.
Go fit for school and go and papa house be this. last you go do, they go find am or something. Ah, yes, something, or go prison or whatever. Now im father land be this, they no go throw am. They will deal with him accordingly. But you that you are a foreigner, they hard though. They will say, oh yeah, come on, we're going, go come on, we're going to
So
your
many
country.
first flights by themselves.
Mommy, go. Okay. But this time, please talk about how. Oh yeah, I said that was going to be the last question. This is the last question now.
Okay.
Please talk about how and where to buy train tickets, how to cross the roads. So I made a video on transportation in Germany. Everything you need to know about transportation in Germany. I made a video on that on my channel, so you can check that. I try to be as detailed as possible in that video, so you can look at it. However, you can just simply buy your ticket online. It is straight to the point. You can download the Deutsche Bahn app, and then you can buy online. Secondly, you can buy at the train station. If you go to the train station, let's say you arrive Germany now, you go to the train station, you can buy your train ticket there at the
Yep.
train station. So that's also another way to do that. Those two options, at least, you can do that. You can also buy from your city. For example, you're living in Hamburg, you can download this transport app for your city, for the city, and then buy through that app. So these are the three different places or ways that you can get your transport ticket. How to cross road? Look to the right, look to the left. I'm sorry.
There are traffic lights, there are
There's
pedestrian
traffic
traffic
light,
lights.
oh, follow the traffic lights. Don't mind me, I'm just messing around with you. There's a traffic light, follow it. There's no jaywalking. Don't cross the road when you're not supposed to cross the road. Look at the traffic light. If it says cross, cross. If there's no traffic lights, for example, there would be a crossing thing,
There'll be a zebra.
zebra crossing thing that tells you can cross despite the fact that there's no traffic lights there. So look out for these things. Don't go and cross main road anyhow. They should not carry you and be going. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So me, I want to ask my final question now, so that we can let you go. You have been really, really, really accommodating. All these other plenty questions, I'm gonna leave it to you to go and create your video and
No,
answer them,
we are on it.
because I had a lot of questions to ask her on dealing with the whole thing, with the whole process of um dealing with it as when you're inside the Ausbildung thing and all. But I think it's better for her to make a video on it, and she'll take time to explain them, and we can go through some of these things. So, my own question is, what advice will you give to those who are coming to do Ausbildung in Germany?
So don't focus too much on the money. I mean, money is important. That's why we're all working. That's why we are leaving our father's land that has sun.
Oh my
This
God.
quote. Don't focus too much on the money. Money is important. You need money to survive and stuff. But eventually, with work experience, with opportunities, with a bit of luck, you'll probably find a company that also wants to pay you well and good. Don't focus too much on money. Think long term. Make sure you are doing an Ausbildung that is something you can see yourself doing in the next 5 to 10 years, right? Don't go and do an Ausbildung for just doing sake. I know that circumstances sometimes might just push you to, okay, I need an Ausbildung that guarantees me 3 years stay, blah, 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 blah. But try and look for an Ausbildung in the field that actually is comfortable for you to do, something that fits your lifestyle in the long run. So for me, for example, anything blood, anything taking care of people, please don't call me. Even though my parents wanted me to be a nurse really bad, like I don't know why. But it's not my calling. It's not in my blood. So no need for me. Because literally I'll be screaming at my patients and they don't.
Yeah, baby girl, you are the one that needs to be taken care of.
So no, you don't need it. And then another thing I wanted to also do is the fact that I wanted a job that is not quite weekend based. Now, if you're going to do nursing or caregiving and stuff, you might be required most time to work weekend or public holidays and stuff. I mean, sometimes you can bargain with these people that you don't want to be working weekend, but this is mostly done for parents or maybe because they already have workers that can fill the gaps for weekend and stuff, then you might have the opportunity. But for a young worker, you just started your career, sometimes you don't have the choice or the opportunity to choose when you want to work, or oh, I don't want to work on weekend, I don't want to do late shift, I don't want to work on Christmas Day, I don't want to work on public. It doesn't work that way. So think long term, and just enjoy the experience. Another thing I would tell African parents, an Ausbildung is not lesser than a university study, for example, because you still hear parents say something like, no, my child must go to university, my child must do this, my child must be in this Germany in 2025. And I'm just cringing like, ew, I don't understand from where to where. I mean, I get the perspective, but maybe we should be open or maybe try get um why an hospital is important. And if you want to thrive in Germany, Germans value work experience. Germans value work experience. You can have 10 bachelor's degree, 20 master degree, and someone will come and said, I have a hospital in this job. I've done it for the past 3 years, and they will employ this person. Right. And it's not about whether you're a foreigner, whether you're a German, whether there's discrimination or not discrimination. You have work experience, you have work experience. German value work experience over what you are bringing in paper form, if that makes sense. So yeah, that would be it actually.
Fantastic. And most importantly, German. Learn your German. Focus. Put power on
Power.
your German. Yes. Super important. It's not that you do B1 or B2 and then you decide to stop them. Me, I've never reached the B1. So me, as I'm giving somebody advice, I've not advised myself finish, but do
You will
what
get
I
there
say.
now.
Do what I say, not what I do. I'm not, I'm not doing Ausbildung, so I don't need it, but I wish I have it now. But I'm working on it, yeah. So language is super important. So let's put a lot of energy on it, especially if this is what you want to do. If you want to do an Ausbildung. So thank you so much, Success. Thank you for your time.
Thanks
You've
for
been
having
so
me.
patient. You've been such a darling. Thank
Oh,
you.
I'm blushing.
Oh my God.
For
We
having me,
hope that we
guys.
can have you some other time as well. When if they bombard me with questions like this again, I will just drag you and come and say, come and answer. They are calling me.
No, wherever ready.
But
Thanks
most
for
importantly, please check Success's YouTube page. Tell them about your YouTube page and your Instagram and your
yep,
TikTok and all
yep.
those things.
So your YouTuber on ground. Your Gen Z YouTuber on ground.
Lazy YouTuber.
Check out my YouTube channel. I post about my life in Germany, career, and fun stuff. And very soon we'll start a video podcast session called The Lab, where we'll be bringing in foreigners and people that are thriving and having success stories in Germany to tell us their secrets, how they did it, how they started, just to also encourage us and motivate us that actually people are they're making it in this Germany, not only
Yes,
Canada and
people are
America. You
making it.
can see
especially those of us of immigrant descent.
yeah,
People
yeah.
are making it, it's just that we don't have a lot of eyes, which is very sad that we don't have enough eyes on those who are making it, enough to encourage other people that you can do this.
Mhm,
You
mhm.
can do this. So it's I think this is it's really good that you're doing this now. It's fantastic. We need more attention to success stories,
Yeah, yeah.
because we have a lot of us here. We are doing amazing stuff. We are supporting the system. We are boosting the economy. It's not only people that are the bottom that used to be in
Nine.
this country.
There's so
It's
many
not
things.
only
I
people
mean,
that are doing bad things. There are people who are doing amazing, amazing stuff.
I
So
just
it's
found
great.
that the biggest Afro shop in the whole of Germany is owned by a Nigerian woman that lives in Hamburg. Actually,
Is it Mama, what's
Mama
her name?
T, actually, yeah.
Mama
She owns
T.
the biggest Afro shop in the whole of Germany in terms of their online platform, everything. And this is someone that actually
That's good.
I know since 10, 11 years. And when I'm like, wait, from where to where? So
Let me
like
even
there's
tell
so
you
many.
something. I reached out to her for her to be
Mhm.
on my podcast
Yeah.
last year. Yes, and she
Uh-huh.
actually agreed to be there. I'm super grateful, even though I'm not a serious podcaster. I have paused my podcast for a bit now, but she responded and she was really looking forward to it. But I just put
Mhm.
a pause on that.
Her
But thank
story
God,
is actually very interesting, I must say. Very
that would
interesting
be
because this is
great.
like a mother of four, a proper like I don't like it's crazy, Sha. And then you have also other stories of people doing businesses, thriving, people changing the narrative, and it's like the
Running
only thing out
companies.
there. Yeah, and the only thing out there
Mhm.
is just they're deporting us. They don't give us visa. That's not the reality,
Some
actually.
people, all this conversation, that's not their problem. Some people, all this talk of say visa, one thing, um, there's a problem with them. That is not what they are talking about. To some people in this country, so
Yep.
we need to see more of those people. That when you go on TikTok and you see some people just Germany, they don't come again. We don't want to be hearing all those kind of stories.
We need motivating story,
Need
actually.
motivating stories, yes.
Yep.
So
Yep.
people know that you can do beyond, menial jobs. I'm not saying that menial jobs are bad.
Mm-hmm.
Every work, every decent work is honorable,
Yeah. Yeah.
but we need to know that we can do more, that we can attain more, we can aspire for more, we can be more, beyond all of these things. Okay, so let's bring this life to an end. Thank you for those that showed up, and thank you so much, Success, for your time. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
So until next time, guys, do have a fantastic, fantastic day.